Welcome, everyone. Give it a couple minutes for people to filter in. Still see people coming in here, so I'll be a bit patient. All right, I think it's slowing down. I think we'll get things started. Thanks, everyone. It's August already. Thanks for joining us. For those who don't know me or are new to Augmentt, my name is Robbie. I'm VP of Product here. And what these monthly meetings are for is basically just for you guys to be aware of what we've recently released. We typically walk through the product to show you how things work and let you know what we're working on. Of course, generally speaking, we want to make sure that everyone gets the most out of these meetings. We're open to feedback on things you might want to see in these presentations as well. A little bit of housekeeping stuff. There's a webinar chat. Feel free to use that for banter, discussion, saying hi, all that good stuff. If you actually have questions for us that you'd like answered, I'd ask that you use the Q&A. That allows me to keep track of what's answered and not answered and not miss any questions. So let's jump into the latest things that we've released. So if you've been hopefully in the product yesterday or today, you've noticed that we dropped a big release. And so we're excited to launch the Defender threat policies. So this came with a few things, starting with the audit, right? As we always do, our goal is to not only ensure that an environment has things in place, but that those things are generating the outcomes you're looking for. And so what we've actually done here from a technical implementation is we've sourced all the data from the Microsoft Secure Score related to their best practices for Defender threat policies. And so that allows to actually match Microsoft's recommendations and then try and increase that secure score as you deploy out those policies. There's a few things we took in consideration, and I call this out because it's feedback we've received from you in the past when we've launched other security checks. You don't want them to just be turned on. And of course, we want you guys to know that they're new and they're available. So what you should see is a little banner at the top if you've got the right permissions in the environment so that you can choose to turn them on automatically or leave them off, and then you'll be able to enable them through Customize the Audit. We're definitely open to some feedback on how that works out for you guys. We definitely hope you like it and that it makes things clear and not intrusive. So there's 38 new recommendations that came that are all related to the Defender policies. And we'll show you a little bit more about how they work in a moment. And what we've also added in here is compliance mapping for all of them as well. So when it comes to the policies themselves, we followed the pattern that we did with conditional access. I mean, we've gotten great feedback, and when we look at our statistics, there's amazing adoption of how the conditional access policies are leveraged and deployed consistently. So again, you can do the same thing, create unlimited templates and baselines within product, right? So you can either use some of our out-of-box recommendations that will help fulfill the requirements from the secure score in the security recommendations, or you can create your own flavor simply by importing them from your environments. So if you're leveraging them today, you've already got good policies that you hopefully want to use, and you can simply create a new template and then create a policy template from there. You'll want to create them for your anti-phish, anti-spam, anti-malware, so on. You can create multiple versions of them as well. and then just store them in Augmentt. So again, the nice thing with the way we do this is no golden tenant, no additional licensing, and unlimited versions of baselines. So once you've got all those policies in the environment, basically group them to create, baseline version 1, baseline version 2, so on and so forth, and deploy those to customers easily. Another thing that's a little special about how we've done these baselines, because they're all part of the threat policies, you can create a baseline that can deploy both multiple types of policies and multiple versions of those policies. So you can easily do, because I know sometimes we'll stack policies, right? Or you'll have 2 anti-spam policies, one for execs, one for the rest of the teams, etc. You can put them all in a single baseline, including some anti-spam, some anti-phish, some safe attachment, etc., and then just roll those out in one go so that you really hit that consistency of not forgetting to deploy something or deploying the wrong thing. So for that deployment, of course, you always want to check your environment first. So you'll notice a few changes here. We've kind of put conditional access under its own area. We've added a new defender section in the nav menu, and then you've got the policies for them. And over here, you can see your anti-phish, anti-spam, malware, safe attachments, safe links, etc. And so from there, you'll see a UI, kind of similar to Microsoft here, where we're showing you the priorities, what's turned on, etc. Of course, one big difference is you don't have to deal with the frustration of the security portal. Our stuff loads a lot quicker. It's very snappy. And jumping ahead here, another thing we've done as part of this deployment, we were mapping all the new security recommendations with their compliance mappings. And then we've went and added or updated CIS M365 to version 5, and we've added CIS version 7 and version 8. So not only to these security checks, but across the board, we've mapped them to all the security recommendations. So that's a total of 134 security recommendations right now. So let me jump in here. I'll just change my screen share. And we'll walk through some of these changes. And again, don't be shy, ask questions. I can try to answer them if they're related to where I'm currently showing, or I'll definitely catch up on them afterwards. So I've already filtered for the new security recommendations here. So you'll see that M365 Defender licensing is required for these. And so we've added them here, which makes it easy to filter for them. You'll see that they have a different icon. So that's a little bit of a change we've made to make it kind of more clear of what's going on, right? So if something's got a gear icon, it's typically like a setting within Microsoft, not necessarily policy driven. If something is driven by Defender policies, then you'll have the shield icon. And if it's driven by conditional access, then we've got these new green conditional access policy icons as well, as you'll see through your list here. So that makes it easy to identify how you can apply the changes to go and remediate those recommendations. So if we jump into, and of course, one way to jump into them is simply clicking, sorry, the wrong icon in this case. I didn't choose the proper shield. So I can go over to your the Defender policies. Again, you can see I can go through them extremely quickly. And again, if you've used the portal, it's extremely frustrating how slow they load. And then you can click into them and see what's inside of your current rules, etc. Hopefully, as you would expect, right, to see from us. And then for standardization, so we've got a few policies out of box that you can tell from the Augmentt defaults. And if you'd like to create your own policies, just like conditional access, you'll choose a tenant, you'll choose the type of policy you're trying to import, and then it'll show you that policy and you can create it in the environment. They'll appear as custom, so you can find them easily. I didn't give it a name, but you can give it, whichever name you'd like to see. And then from there, we can create baselines. So again, I want, and we're calling out what type of policy they are here to make them easy to identify, but I can include all of these in my new baseline, give them a nice description. You'll see what all of them are here. So you've got all the context of what you're including in this baseline, and then they'll be added as a baseline. And then you can simply go to your environment and deploy them. So either deploy a specific policy, which will be like a one-off, or you can deploy the baselines themselves. I could choose my new baseline and it'll roll all of these out. And of course, if you decide this environment already has this and you want the rest of them, you can still do that and just roll out those policies very quickly. Let me just see here. I think I've got a question coming in. Okay, there's a comment about being more specific on the type of license required. I will take a look into that. Because yes, this is not Defender for endpoint specifically. So we might have to call out the for office. Thank you for that feedback. And of course, as I was showing earlier in the security posture, you'll notice the new compliances. So we've added down here, CIS, M365 version 5, 7 and 8 have been mapped against our existing compliance standards. That is the quick walkthrough for now. Of course, if anyone's got any questions, generally they'd love me to get through, I'm happy to touch on that. But those are the big changes since we've last spoken last month. And so I'll go back to the presentation here real quick. There we go. And so we want to be a bit more open about the roadmap here and show you what we're working on. So right now, mailbox rules, alerts, I think I've mentioned those a few times before. We should be beta testing next week. So we think around Thursday, which is our typical release day, we should be ready to start beta testing on the mailbox rule alerts. So this will catch new mailbox rules that enable forwarding and such things. We are building a alert for integration conflicts. So there's a few reasons why this is now a big priority, but we've seen Microsoft start creating a lot of intervention in the system. So whether you like it or not, sometimes they mark users as risky and things like that, and they automatically insert policies that will block risky users for things like connections to the CSP and the Graph API, which is having quite a bit of impact, unfortunately. And so we want to be able to catch those more easily. So it's typically simple if you contact support. You know, we look at the error message you're getting and we figure it out pretty quickly. We want you to be aware that these are happening automatically rather than have to figure out that a connection is broken. It should also help with simply when changes are made. We've seen errors, unfortunately, with passwords being reset on an environment, which caused a token reset and things like that. So this should make it aware that, hey, the change you just made may have broken an integration. We've had, so Microsoft recently released a configuration setting for direct send, which actually allows you to block that. And so this is good because I think they've realized that it's being exploited quite a bit. And so they've put in a security check. It's via PowerShell only, not via Graph, which we're connected to, it's fine. And so we're building a security recommendation around it, and we'll have the configuration capability in order to enable or disable direct send. And of course, the big thing we're working on is Intune policies. So we've shipped Defender and we're rolling into Intune policies with an initial focus on the autopilot config to get your devices enrolled, the device configuration settings, and then the compliance settings. If you're part of our technical advisory, I've had quite a few conversations around this. If you were interested in having conversations and I haven't reached out to you yet, or you didn't get emails about those conversations, it means you might not be on our list. Couple things you can do, but just email me or email us or contact support. Just say you'd love to be part of those discussions. We'll definitely tag your account so that you're included in the future. And just give us feedback. I mean, you can email feedback just about anywhere in the company and it will get to the right person. I'm also calling out here with those little screenshots that are probably hard to read that, again, our community keeps growing and there's been discussions around these things on the community, which is helping to drive the roadmap, including this direct send thing that is something that Microsoft only recently released early August and is getting prioritized because of things like that. So the more people we have in there, I think the better it is. Quick little call out here from our marketing team as well. So we've got a referral program if you weren't aware, and if you're interested in that, there's nice little bonuses for you guys. And Levi's posting right now in the chat saying if you refer someone, CC him or shoot him an email, and you can get a nice little reward for that. So we appreciate any help we can get on that front. Word of mouth, we have amazing partners like you guys, and word of mouth is just about the best thing we can get. I've already talked about our community and our betas, and we've got feature voting in there, and I hope to see you there. Note that if you sign up for the community, I'm approving those manually. We're just trying to make sure we don't get a lot of spam because I see those accounts try to register. So just be patient. I typically get to them within the day. That's our presentation for today. Again, I hope this was useful. We try to keep it, pretty straightforward, not take up too much of your time. We just want to let you guys know what we're working on, and hopefully this is just useful for you guys. Look forward to your feedback, and as always, thank you for the time today. Yes, great question. A recording will indeed be sent out. So we always record these and they should get sent out afterwards. Okay, thanks everyone. It doesn't seem like there's any more questions coming in. Appreciate the time. See you next month.